3,500,068 bottles of beer on the wall, 3,500,068 bottles of beer. Take one down, throw them around, 3,500,067 bottles of beer on the wall.
Space!
No more bottles of beer! Thank Luna!
Ah, good. You are unharmed. And still alive. Odd.
I'm hard to kill, so who are you exactly?
I am Aramau, Firebrand's secretary. I've been going over old files, and I noticed that he had some unfinished business with some of his old collab partners. I'm here to clean up his mess, and thus here you are.
You clean up after Firebrand. Jeez, I hope he pays overtime.
I get snuggles. In any case, you are safely back, and I shall take my leave.
Wait, I had no one to talk to in the last 9 months beside myself. Yeah, he wasn't a good conversation partner either, and he sucks at tic-tac-toe. So many draws. And his lame jokes! Jeez, how can a fox be this unfunny? In any case, would you like to stay for a cup of tea?
I suppose I could pencil you in. Though perhaps we could make our time more productive. Maybe watch an episode that you missed while you were gone?
Yay! Actual company! Discord and Harmony is the obligatory Discord episode of Season 7, and it has more Discord in it than every other episode before it. Literally.
Don't look at me, I'm not complaining. This is my second favorite episode of the entire series, so bring on the cardigans and the singing tea bags. I am ready.
Well, we get to see that Fluttershy and Discord still have their weekly dates. I mean, tea parties. And this is pretty much what this episode is all about in a nutshell. The relationship between those two. It's still amazing how close they are, considering that Discord had to rely on brute force to corrupt her in Season 2.
And not to mention his betrayal that caused her to cry in Season 4. But here they have a very natural and adorable rapport that just makes the Fluttercord OTP shipper in me squee. Though I do find it a bit odd that after all these years, months, time loop, she's never been to his house.
Well, it's not surprising, considering that Discord seemingly lives in his own dimension. He would need to teleport her to his place.
Or she could use whatever portal the male pony went through to deliver the invitation to the Grand Galloping Gala.
Maybe he was teleported into that dimension by Celestia? I don't know.
Uh-huh. Moving onward, a decent portion of the episode is Discord going grocery shopping for his date.
You mean tea party?
No, I mean date. And causing mayhem. First stop is the tea shop, where he latches onto the idea that ginseng tea actually should sing. I mean, I wouldn't mind, might actually make tea taste better to me.
Frankly, I always thought it is rather disturbing that the dishes in the Beauty and the Beast are sentient. And sentient tea you consume might actually be worse.
I drink their innards. I am the Hannibal Lecter of beverages.
Yeah, you're dating Firebrand, alright.
Jasmine Leaf also brings up a point that Discord seems a little offended by.
Are you sure you're friends with Fluttershy? You seem so very different from her.
Well, of course we're friends. She gets me, and you obviously do not. Are you sure you're friends with Fluttershy? The very nerve.
I like that Discord defends his friendship with Fluttershy because it's very important to him. He's right, she gets him, and I think it's very sweet of him to stick up for their philia of one another. But his insults with the tea set shop owner need work.
You're friends with Fluttershy?
Yes, judgy clerk pony. Why is it such a surprise? Sure, she's on the quieter side, and I'm a bit, well, more showy. But I'll have you know we're besties, and that's why I need the best tea set.
But it also brings up a very good point. Their friendship doesn't make sense at first glance, or even a second. But it really does support the lesson of this episode, that different people can befriend each other and that they might appreciate exactly those differences. If you were friends with someone exactly like yourself, it might be boring, but having a friend with differences lets you both try new things and help each other grow. what he says, I never want to spend another day with him again. You both suck! Remind me to never use the Kagebushi no Jutsu again.
I'll make a note of it. Before he poofs back home, he runs into Pinkie Pie, who gives him some wonderful advice and even a compliment.
Oh, Discord, you're way overthinking things. All you have to do is make Fluttershy feel comfortable, which should be pretty easy for you. You know her so well.
An acknowledgement from one of her closest friends that he knows Fluttershy so well should make him feel better, but he soon begins to worry that they truly are too different and don't make any sense.
Now, that is a difficult thing. In general, Discord has the right idea. He wants to make Fluttershy feel comfortable and prepare something she would like. That is a pretty good idea, but he goes way too far by trying to change himself to what he believes she would like. While the episode teaches you that you shouldn't pretend to be something that you are not, it should be noted that the actual issue here is that Discord goes into an extreme. There's nothing wrong with going out of your way to prepare a pleasant surprise for a friend, even if it is maybe something you're not a big fan of.
For example, say you're really good friends with a big sports fan, but you don't particularly care for it. There's nothing wrong with inviting him or her over to watch a game, provide their favorite snacks, and ask them questions about the sport they love. But what would be wrong and dishonest is to feign interest and completely abandon your own interests and identity to match the interest of your friend. That's a relationship built on lies and discomfort, and it's not worth having at all.
Well, and as it turns out, pretending to be someone he isn't causes Discord to disappear. He is a being of chaos, so if he is trying to be chaotic, he's fine. He is being himself. But when he tries to be orderly, he starts to fade away. He is losing himself. Literally and figuratively.
Naturally, when Fluttershy shows up expecting Discord to be himself, she's a little saddened to see that he's Mr. Rogers. She's expecting the fantastic, and all she gets is,
I think you'll be quite pleased with the green tea I've selected for us today.
Ooh, does it actually turn us green? Is it really envious of the other teas? What's it do?
Well, it tastes delicious.
Oh, okay.
that. And she's even more upset when he begins to fade away. And thus begins my absolute favorite part of the episode, Fluttershy trying her very hardest to be chaotic. She just doesn't know how to do it, but she wants to be disorderly so hard. She wants to bring her friend back from danger. It's so sweet, but she just can't. You eat those sandwiches, honey. You can do it.
I almost lost it there. She's so adorable when she tries to be like Discord. And it also highlights how well she knows Discord as she recreates everything he removed beforehand because he thought it would make Fluttershy uncomfortable.
Stairs that lead to nowhere or facing the imminent erasure of one of your dearest friends? I think the latter would make her more uncomfortable.
Just a little bit, and it works. Discord becomes corporal again and they have a properly improper tea party in the air, a la Mary Poppins. I personally still prefer tea with the Mad Hatter though.
By the way, very merry on birthday to you, Tricky.
Oh, thank you.
And thus ends Discordant Harmony. I love it. But more for the heart of the message than for the filler comedy. Don't get me wrong, Discord is absolutely hilarious, as he almost always is. We don't talk about what about Discord here, people. But his chemistry with Fluttershy is genuinely adorable. They bounce off each other so well, just like true friends do. That thing I said earlier about having a sporty friend, that's based on my relationship with a friend that I've had since we were 3 months old. Our interests grew up with us. So now I go watch her throw discus and wear heels that I hate in her wedding, and she comes to see musicals I'm in and listens to me ramble about my favorite manga. Different interests does not mean that you can't be friends, and this episode illustrates that perfectly.
How does the old saying go again? Opposite attract? Well, and I think this episode portrays it perfectly. A friendship doesn't have to make sense. It is about accepting how you and your friends are different, and you can appreciate the quirks of your friend. Now that I think about it, this episode teaches almost the same lesson as Fame and Misfortune, only it gets the point across and lacks the unfortunate implications. Also, I like the idea that Fluttershy and Discord are this close because they complement each other. Since they are friends, Fluttershy became more confident and, well, a bit more sassy. And Discord has become much more considerate of others, compared to what he was at least. So you could say that they are rubbing off on each other.
So I finished my tea, and we've spent a pleasant afternoon together. But I must get back to work.
You have to go.
Oh no. Don't say anything. I have a new hat. That's it. That's all.
Yay! Company!
The hat talks. It's a magic hat. I couldn't leave a talking magic hat all alone. Not when it gives me puppy dog eyes.
Sly as a fox, you got me under your spell. But you know I'll never tell that I know you know so well. Sometimes you can be